this party started. I'm gonna go ahead and get this party started, y'all. Let me actually go ahead and also redrop the link. Incorrect link. All right. So today is January 8th, second Sunday in January 2023. We are, we are in a good, we're in good, I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling amazing. Definitely, ready for the trading week. And, all right, we should be good now. We should be good now. But welcome everybody. Today is January 8th, Sunday, January 8th, 2023. I'm going ahead and getting it started. And so we're looking at the dollar. Of course, to start everything off, dollar on the daily is doing absolutely, it's showing, right? But we've been in the same place for a while now, right? This is actually the same price we were at on December 15th when CPI hit. And so we've pretty much just been going back and forth between, between those two areas. Now, interesting thing about the dollar. All right. Interesting thing about the dollar is I do believe that the dollar is it's in a position to move higher. It's definitely in position to move higher. Like I said, it's been bouncing back and forth. But that's typically what happens before a reversal, right? Is a lot of going back and, bouncing, consolidation. So I'm kind of looking at this previous low here from June. That is interesting to me. I think there's, some liquidity under there. There's orders under there, stop losses, everything of the nature. We can see we came down to that same price December 14th. We came down to that same price again December 30th, right? And it's literally like we're just, playing on top of that zone. And then also looking to the higher side, I definitely think that, this is where our buy side liquidity is now, especially after the market went ahead and created these higher highs, right? Created these three levels of higher highs, breaking these highs, taking liquidity here, right? Here and here. And so that only leaves this high intact up here for the market to go ahead and take and, reverse essentially. But how will that happen? We will have to see. This week, we actually do have CPI dropping this week. So we'll actually switch over to that real quick. All right, we actually do have CPI dropping this week. Let me go over to the news panel. Let me make sure they can see on Zoom, right? Make sure they can see on Zoom, right? But we do have news dropping this week. News coming. We got tomorrow, Monday. Today technically is a Japanese holiday, so definitely keep that in mind. Today is a Japanese bank holiday, JPY bank holiday. Tuesday, we're going to have Federal Chairman Powell speaking, and that'll give us an idea as towards, some certain things going on with the interest rates. It's going to have major effect on the dollar. That's 9 a.m. on Tuesday. We got short-term energy outlook on noon, but I'm not. That is not something that I'm familiar with how it will affect the market. Wednesday, crude oil inventories, slightly important, and then Thursday we have CPI, which is going to be the inflation numbers from last month, right? How was inflation looking going from November to December? And they're predicting that inflation didn't change from November to December, and they're predicting that from December 2021 to December 2022, they're predicting that inflation is lower, right? So they're saying that 7.1% was the change, was the inflation at this time last year, and forecasting that it will come out at 6.5, which is lower. Now, I'm just going to be honest with y'all. I just look at the economy. I don't think inflation is going to come out lower. They just raised the interest rates again, another half or a quarter basis point in December. And then we also saw NFP last week, and we can actually go ahead and pull that up. Right, we actually saw NFP last week come out. We actually saw NFP last week. Yeah, like why is it being weird? Okay, right. We actually saw NFP last week here, and you can see that from NFP in November, which was at 256,000. Pretty much less jobs, and then we had 223,000 new hires, I should say. New people who were able to get jobs in December. I mean, in December, yes, I'm sorry, right, compared to November. And the unemployment rate actually went down, right? The unemployment rate went from 3.6% to 3.5, and they were projecting it to come out higher, right? They were also projecting that the amount of people who got new jobs was going to come out lower at 200,000. It came out at 223,000. You're probably listening to me and you're like, well, Maverick, why does any of that matter? I got you. The reason that matters is because if inflation is going down, that means that less people are spending money, aka less people have money to spend, aka less people have a job, right? So if inflation is going lower, if it's getting better, then that means that the economy, people should be seeing a little bit more strife. That's the reason for raising the interest rates, right? Inflation just means that it's too much money going around. So already can see that, boom, these numbers can't, they don't favor inflation going down. So I anticipate, based on based on what has been happening so far and reading the room, as I talk about on the market prep workshop, I'm seeing that, I'm personally seeing that we are going to actually be seeing inflation still come out higher. So I'm not saying it'll come out higher than 7.1%, but they're expecting it to be at 6.5. Definitely see it being over 6.5, right? Whether that's 6.7 or whether that's 7.3, I just know they're wrong, right? So I'm definitely looking forward to see what that says on Thursday. And clearly a higher inflation rate would mean a bearish dollar, and a lower inflation rate would equate to a bullish dollar. And then we have unemployment claims that should be coming out this Thursday as well at the same time. So a lot of volatility going to be coming into the market on Thursday. We're going to be aware of that. Won't trade at the moment of that volatility. Give the market some time to get its life together. And then we'll go ahead and attack on that, right? But with that being said, right, heading back over to the dollar, right? Heading back over to the dollar. Now, looking at the dollar, and, the squad and I, we were looking at seeing, the dollar come up into, this buy side liquidity and raid the bottom. And as we can see, that's actually what's going down, right? The dollar is tearing lower, okay? And it's heading to interesting areas, right? It's heading to the sell side liquidity from the daily time frame that we saw from here, right, from when they came lower here, and from all the way back in June, like we talked about. We ain't gonna go all the way back over there, right? But from all the way back in June, right? So we got some sell side liquidity sitting underneath here, right? Stop losses, the whole nine, right? So I'm definitely expecting to see the dollar raid there. And we're also coming back towards this monthly open, okay? So definitely, want to see that, especially because we never even traded below the monthly open. If you'll notice, the markets opened up January 1st and literally skyrocketed. The dollar literally just took off to start the year, right? Literally just took off, had a straight bullish week. And then on Friday, they took the whole week back. That's some savage stuff, right? That's some savage stuff. Bullish all week just to close right above the monthly open to finish the week off, Okay, so I'm kind of looking to see on a higher time frame level with the dollar is to see us go ahead and dip under the monthly open, take this sell side liquidity. However, to see the dollar bullish, I would actually like to see this thing close above. These, above these areas on the daily, right? On the daily. So we'll definitely see how the market reacts there. But as of right now, yeah, dollar bearish AF, and we want to see where she's gonna take this story. Okay, so let's just look at the weekly points, right? I always like to map out the weekly open. That was the weekly open right there. Boom. Okay, and we can see the market is literally just starting off, dropping straight off from the weekly open. Like I said, I'd love to see them, travel under here, right? Maybe today, maybe going into Tuesday, and then seeing us move higher, right, from that area. So that's kind of my analysis on the dollar right now. But we have heavy on the bearishness right now, right? Heading towards this sell side liquidity. And so once we get there, we'll see how everything responds in that area. But as of right now, last week, like I said, dollar created new highs, higher highs here, higher highs here, higher highs here. We haven't been that high since the beginning of December, right? But they did fail to come up into this buy side liquidity up here. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and play the game and be wary of what they got going on, right? Paying attention to maybe like right here in that area, right? Paying attention to right inside of there, and we'll see how the dollar responds. Okay, so that's all I can say, guys. I mean, I'm gonna just be honest. We're not trending yet, right? We're still coming up out of this consolidation, so it's a game of patience, right? It is a matter of being patient, not being in a rush, right, and letting the trades come to us. Okay. But yeah, sell side liquidity down here, and we'll see how they go ahead and traverse, continuing that. Now, heading over to gold, right? Heading over to gold from there equally. Of course, opposite, we can see that gold has been skying, right? Taken to the sky, and is actually, as we speak right now, taking this buy side liquidity. All right, so will be very interesting to see how dollar responds here. Let me actually go ahead and wipe my, I'm not the dollar, the gold responds here. Daily buy side, right? But yes, we can see that gold is literally attacking this high over here, right? This previous high over here. So intrigued to see whether we're gonna close above this or whether we're gonna wick above this and then close below, which would show me would show me bearishness, right? Because the buy side liquidity has been taken, but then we closed moving lower, and then I'll drop to a lower time frame and see if we see a break of structures to the downside going into the end of Monday, going into Tuesday. Things like that, right? So definitely paying attention to how we respond right here. This is actually an area that I was looking to see gold come up to sell from. It's rather, I mean, even just looking at the monthly, you can see how just crazy this looks, right? You can see how crazy this looks. So seeing how they respond here is definitely important to me. I can say from the high to the low, we're well above the equilibrium area and right inside of that, beautiful premium and discount, right? Beautiful premium and discount on a monthly time frame. So yeah, we gonna see how they go ahead and get the party started. Also interesting to see that on the monthly time frame we had some sell side liquidity under here, right? And it's not like monthly sell side, and it's not like like I'm explaining on gold right now. For example, let me replay. Love to replay, right? So on this sell side liquidity, if we would have saw something like market came down, if we would have saw something like market came down, and then they went down here, but they closed up here, right? If we would have saw something like that, right, the sell side liquidity got taken, and they still would have came up and created a higher low than over here, right? Then of course I'll be anticipating for them to go ahead and take the buy side, right? I'll be anticipating for them to go ahead and come all the way up here, but that's not actually what played out, right? What actually played out was, and let me go ahead and, yeah, all right. So what actually played out was the market actually took that low, right? Market actually took that low, came back, and we don't have to wait for it to, right? Market took that low, and then we saw institutional buying come in straight after taking that low and take us to the upside, and we've been bullish ever since, okay? So, you know, the crazy thing is that when we see things like this, just straight massive bullishness, especially after taking, you know, sell side liquidity. We, you know, here we saw boom. Let's go ahead and map out some buy side here. Boom, market came. They rejected off this buy level, rejected, and then ended up what, continuing and taking the buy side liquidity and closing above, and then continuing higher, right? So that next range or next area that, you know, if it wants to turn around, that next best area for them to turn around at would be right, you know, essentially at either at this buy side liquidity, or they're going to continue higher, right? So again, same thing is similar to the dollar. Going into this on Monday, I personally want to pay attention to, you know, how we respond in these areas right now, when it comes to both gold and the dollar, right? So on a rampage, moving higher, and I'm not going to step in front of it. But let's say that going into, you know, the end of Monday comes and we close higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows up into, you know, up into this. I mean, look, I mean, I'm just going to be honest, the gold is bullish AF, right? But based off just what I see right now, I don't see gold going, you know, and taking these highs right now. I don't see that. I feel like this is a bearish setup, especially the way we closed down, you know, down here. We closed below these lows, right? And so that makes this a lower low, right? And so that means the market is seeking higher. And yes, it's taking liquidity, but all of this still would be a lower high on the higher time frames, right? So I'm cool with them, you know, doing all the junk that they got going on right now. And then of course you can see it sitting pretty. This literally just triple bottom. Sitting under here, all that juicy liquidity under there. So yeah, just you know, this is that area that I'm looking to see how gold responds. Yeah, and you see this thing is just bullish. Then I'm right. So yeah, we just gonna be patient, right? Be patient. Let me check silver real quick, right? I like to use silver as a reference point for gold and the dollar, because, you know, silver typically kind of like, I'm not gonna say leads gold, because clearly like right now gold looks like it's at the higher point, but I kind of feel like it's almost like it tells the tale. That's what I'll say about silver, right? Silver tells a story, and it's in correlation with gold, right? And typically I've seen silver move ahead of gold moving. Okay, so that's one thing I like to use about silver, but that's not to say it's always going to be like that, right? Just know that I'm not saying it's always going to be like that. Similar thing to, you know, with silver here. If we go up to that monthly time frame, we can see that with silver, it's so much more obvious. This is what I'm talking about. Like if I go back to gold on the monthly, it's way more obvious on silver how we had sell side liquidity over here, monthly sell side. And then we saw silver, like what? That wasn't a wick. It literally closed, it gave a lower high, then gave a lower low, all underneath this sell side liquidity. And now they're climbing up, but just pushing straight bullishness since September. Bullish month in September, bullish month in October, bullish month in November, bullish month in December. Like, come on, man. Like that was a whole quarter of bullishness. And one thing that, you know, I really talk about all the time is time and price, right? Looking at the monthly, the times that I'm gonna pay attention to is the quarters, right? When I'm looking at the monthly, right? So I got January right here, right? January to March is a quarter, right? And then I got April to July is a quarter, right? Then I got July to October is a quarter. And then I got the end of the year right now, right? And just looking at that, the way the candle, you know, anatomy built out, you know, the candle opened here for the year, right? They came up, gave that high, and they came back down, gave a lower low, right? By the halfway point of the year, right? So this was first quarter of the year, we gave the high of the year, right? Second quarter of the year, we dropped down to give the low of the year right here in the third quarter in August. And then literally August and September consolidation, and then October straight bullishness. Okay, now look at the trend, right? We just like just look at the trend. You feel me? Came up, gave a higher high here or a higher high than these highs here. And then the market giving that break of structure, lower lows, coming back up. I'm anticipating a lower high. I'm anticipating a lower high on the higher time frame for us to aim for something like, you know, the sell side liquidity here, right? Like the sell side liquidity there on a monthly time frame, right? So that could take, that could take till August of this year to play out, right? August of this year it could take to play out like that, and just based on the seasonalities, that's I mean I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, so I just want to point that out. It's more obvious on silver how they closed below this. It wasn't a wick, it wasn't anything like that. I know gold is slightly closer to that sell side, but you can see silver clearly gave a lower low. And so all of this right here, I'm interested to see how they create the lower high, right? And if not, and they just do a reversal, very interested in seeing that. Silver is also in a premium from seeing this move in March was the move that broke the lows, right? We can see that. Okay, let me delete some of these lines, clean it up. Just be me in the chart sometimes. I ain't gonna cut. All right. So we can see that this right here. Oh, we got some people on the Zoom. What's good, fam? What's popping? All right. So we see this low right here. Not this low, this high right here. Okay. This was the high that broke these lows. Right, so these, this was the higher low, right? Low, high, higher low, lower high, and then after this lower high, this is the move that broke the lows, right? And y'all know I like to throw my fibs on moves that break lows from the high to the lows, and I like to pay attention to above the 50%, which is the that halfway discount point. And then boom, right in that 62.71, and you can see we're right inside of that here on silver as well. All right, so I think this week I'm going bearish on these metals and bullish on dollar. It's just a matter of how it plays out. But of course, I'm gonna keep my eyes open, keep my finger on the trigger, and be aware of how it's gonna go ahead and build out. So I ain't gonna go too low on the time frames on silver. I just like to use silver to kind of give me an idea for what gold and the rest of them are doing. Similar thing that happened here with silver, where they gave a high and then they gave a break of structure and broke that and gave the low and then came back up, lower high, and then they dropped. Right, it's a similar type of situation happening here on the daily, where the market is pushed up and then boom, wicked above these highs. And then we got what? Massive lower low, right? So boom, it's literally the same thing on a lower time frame. So we'll just see how they respond there again, right? How they respond there again. Patience. Your boy loves some Nas. Gold and NASDAQ, my babies. My babies. And looking at NASDAQ, looking at these assets, similar, like, at the end of the day, these assets, they're all opposite. They all run counter correlated to gold. Not to gold, to the dollar. My bad. Right? They all run counter to the dollar. And I, from what I'm looking at on NAS, or what I've been looking at NAS this week, let me go ahead and give y'all the views, right? So I was looking to see Mr. NASDAQ come up into this 11,500 zone, right? And I'm still looking for that, right? You can see here was previous, and I'm actually rewind for this one so that y'all can get where I'm putting down. Okay, in the past, this is what we had here, right? No, I'm cool. Boom. Boom. All right, so before that got taken, we're gonna treat this right here like it was buy side liquidity, so that you guys can kind of get your idea around what I kind of been saying. And I said it on the other ones too. right? So boom, we got some buy side liquidity right here, right? We have a swing high. This clearly was there before and they took that and then they dropped, right? So boom, buy side liquidity here. Now, just like I was explaining on the other ones, all right, buy side liquidity, if we don't close above that liquidity, it's not really showing me bullishness, right? And you can see, boom, they didn't close, right? They wicked into that area, right? They wicked above it, took the buy side liquidity, and then slid, right? And we see them giving lower lows, right? And literally just sliding, right? Lower lows, lower highs, right? Lower lows, lower highs. So what we can see is that last week, we have some sell side liquidity right here. And that's where I was kind of looking to see them, come into last week, but they never did. Interestingly enough, right? They never made their way all the way down there. So I, based on based on that, it kind of shows me like, okay, I'm a keep my eye, for us to still come take this. Now I'm bearish long term on NAS, right? So that means that, hey, they could just leave this thing right here and they, can move higher. We're gonna go down to the 4 hour, but yeah, keep your eye on 11.5, right? Since they already came up, took that liquidity, I'm not expecting them to move higher past that. Past that. That's not, what I'm kind of expecting from the market. They took this liquidity, they took the previous liquidity over here, all of that, and then they dropped off. So it's kind of more so I'm just looking to see a lower high on this to then go and take sell side liquidity here, move lower past, these areas, especially going into February and, the end of February going into March, when the market would tend to start to trend, right? Trend in the direction they want to go for the second and third quarter. Okay. Now, looking at NASDAQ on the 4 hour time frame, looking at NASDAQ on the 4 hour time frame, this right here, this move right here, I had dropped it in the server, right? I had dropped it in the server, and I was anticipating. Let's see if I can actually pull it up. Right? Let's see if I can actually pull it up. Yes, here she is, right? So this was NAS. And I'll actually make sure that we can see it on everything. All right, cool. So this is NAS from last week, and you can see that she was right here at 1077, and I had the buy side liquidity marked up at 10970. Okay, for the TP. All right, so let's go ahead and head back over to TradingView. All right, and we can see 1077 was here. Right, 1077 was here, and if I go down just even a little bit lower, right, onto the hourly, what was the price for the 10970, right? So 10970, I believe that was this one. Yeah, it's like right there. Yeah, that high, right? So that right there was the buy side liquidity that I had mapped out on Friday, right? So I was like, yeah, I think they'll, they'll take this, they'll come move up, maybe take this and then move lower, right? But no, you can see the market closed above this buy side liquidity. So, of course, the market has continued to move higher, and I anticipate that they'll continue to move higher. Now we see that we have some, liquidity up here. So we'll see how we respond there, right? Depending on at the time. Remember, it's all about time and price for me. The way I trade is all about time and price. So what is the time of the day when we take these areas of liquidity? You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of like, what it is that I'm paying attention to. We take buy side here, but fail to close above, and it's 8 a.m. in the morning on a Monday, or it's 8 a.m. in the morning on a Tuesday, and we close to fail above, and then we know that the markets is open up at 9:30. I'm going to be paying attention to see break of structures for the sell. You feel me? Right now, Sunday market outlook, I'm not looking to execute trades right now. I'm not looking to find trades right now. I'm looking to find the areas. And then now throughout the week, when we hop on to the live sessions, in the morning in the server, like I'm gonna be able to look and be like, okay, this was that area I was looking for, that buy side liquidity. I see that they wicked above it, they came back below, whatever the case is. So that's my thing on NASDAQ. Like I said, the thing is that I'm not gonna lie, I don't really expect them to kill this momentum, honestly. Like I said, if we go back to the 4 hour, the area that I'm kind of paying attention, that I have been paying attention to on NAS, has been 11,500, right? 11,500. And if I go ahead and draw fibs from the top to the bottom real quick, that premium, like that premium area, the place that would be beautiful for sellers, right, is right up here in that 11,630 to 11,500, 11,700 area. So if we were to break here, break here, if we were to see that, then that's where I'm looking to see NAS come up to. But again, with the dollar, with what I'm looking to see on the dollar, seeing a bearish dollar a bullish dollar would definitely cause NAS to go lower, right? So depending on when the dollar starts to move higher, would also give me an indication as to when NAS may be ready to move lower. But as of right now, they never came down, and took these lows. They never took the sell side liquidity here. They actually came down here, matched it, and then took off again. So now this is a double bottom. All right, now this is a double bottom. Okay. There's definitely stop losses, sell stops, all that type of stuff going on underneath this double bottom. And then right below that double bottom, we have the daily sell side liquidity, right? It's looking real juicy to the low side to me. It's looking very juicy to the low side. So even if they have to take some of the liquidity up here, maybe here, maybe they even come up and take, come up into, into the areas that I'm talking about, all the way up to 11,500, right? In here, right? Even if we come up into that, either way it goes, my targets are down here. And I'm gonna just be honest with you, I'm willing to wait for the sells, right? I'm willing to let them buy up whatever they got to do to buy up. Maybe they come up to these previous these areas. I'm sorry, they come up to these previous lows here from when the market was on the top side, right? And this was a high, this was a low, this was a high, this was a low, right? Maybe we come back up into this area, but it's this whole area right here is in confluence for me, right? So this is that kill zone that I'm looking for. But if it starts to happen sooner, it's cool. I'll go ahead and take my participate on us coming down into here. So overall, I definitely see us heading for 10,500 on NAS. Sub 10, right? I see sub 10. I don't know about this week. I won't say this week I see sub, below 10, but I will definitely say that I'm looking to see these levels get rated on NASDAQ. Let's go down to the hour one time. All right, go down to the hour. Okay. So with that being said, if I'm looking for trade setups going into tomorrow, and I just said everything I said, yeah, I am looking to see us come down here, but I'm not looking to see us come down here until we take this buy side liquidity, regardless of if that buy side liquidity gets taken with a full candle or if it gets taken with a wick. It doesn't matter. This buy side liquidity got to get taken. So that means that if this market were to give any type of pullbacks, right, anything of that nature, I will be willing to go ahead and get in, go into the high side, because we still have not came up to this buy side liquidity. Until we take that, I'm willing to not take the sells to down here. And so with that being said, maybe we're here on the 1 hour, right? Where could I potentially, if we did see pullbacks, where would I be inclined to get into those, into those moves? Now, any trading back into, these previous higher highs here, right? Trading down into that area, seeing them trade down into that area, or even, even lower, right? Even lower, down into this fair value gap right here. Boom. All right, down into there would interest me. Clearly this is that first that first zone, just because it's right on top. And let me actually go ahead and map out where the week opened out at. I don't know why I forgot to do that. Boom, the week opened right there, down to the 30-minute. Week opened right there. Make sure we drop a little, boom. So that was the weekly open. So yeah, we will go ahead and see how it is that we traverse. Let me put an alert on this chart. So 1100. All right. So yeah, I want to see how the market responds. But I'm not gonna lie, I like this this fair value gap down here. If we ain't gonna get that, then I'll probably just wait for the sells. I'll probably just wait for the sells to play out. And if that was the case, then of course the TPs would be above that area there. And I'm just like, honestly, that like that would be that setup there, right? 1 to 3 on that. But like I said, if we don't come down into that level, or if we were to take this liquidity and then come down here, this trade is invalidated. This type of idea is invalidated if we were to go ahead and trade up above that, buy side liquidity and then come down here. That's not what I want. What I want is if they leave that intact and then trade back into that, into that area. That's what I would want to participate in on NAS, okay? And then clearly, the US 30, SPX 500, they all correlate with NAS, so all similar outtakes that I have on those, right? Couple of those. Let me see. So go down to let's hit UCAD. Do I want to hit UCAD first? Let's hit UJ first. So UJ, go ahead and clean up UJ. We had a good sell-off that we had mapped out on Friday. From here, from the buy side liquidity up here, right? And this is kind of like the it's perfect where it's at right now, actually, because on Friday I had the buy side liquidity mapped out right here, right? So we clearly, boom, we had this high, so there was stops above this high, sell, buy stops, stop losses, all type of energy was here up above this high, and we can see that on Friday NFP. It was after NFP, wasn't during NFP, was it? I think it might have been. Yeah, right before NFP, right? Right before NFP. Oh, this is the hourly. So let's see, was it 9:30, 8:30? Right, 8:30 traded a little bit back up into it, but it was right before NFP that we traded right above that buy side liquidity, and then we did what? Literally dropped and came and took the sell side liquidity, right? And so that's what I was looking to see happen on UJ in correlation with how I said I expect to see the dollar drop lower, then actually go ahead and move up higher, right? And we're seeing the dollar have that drop lower, but I do see it coming a little bit lower, right? Maybe even down into those areas. So similar thing for UJ. I could see UJ coming lower, right? Whether it's into the buy zone that I wanted right here. Not gonna lie, I did want to see it come into that buy zone and then execute from there, but it looks like it might have some more room to go, right? Especially given that they close below the sell side liquidity here, right? If we go back out to that daily or that 4 hour real quick, right? If we go back out, even to the daily is cool, but the 4 hour, you'll see that, like I said about the buy side liquidity, right, is that they didn't close above this. It was just a wick. Right, it was just a wick, and then we saw the market drop lower, and they didn't just wick underneath the sell side liquidity here. Now we do have 2 hours left on this candle to see if that bar is true or not. But if they're going to close below this sell side liquidity, especially on a higher time frame, I would, of course, again, anticipate that they got lower to go. But I'm not gonna lie, like we'll see. I am bullish on UJ for the week because I'm bullish on dollar, of course. But at the end of the day, got to pay attention to what we see is going on. And I'm not going to lie to you, when I look at UJ looks like it got more room to go lower than the dollar, right? But they correlate. Now, I'm not going to lie, there are times when they don't correlate. Like the past week, like last week and the week before, dollar was not correlating with UJ because a lot of the news that was dropping for JPY, right, for the yen, for the Bank of Japan, a lot of that news was affecting UJ so heavily. It was not moving in the same direction as the dollar. But yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll see how they respond here. But I'm not gonna lie, like the way that UJ is set up on the daily, I could definitely say that this sell side liquidity don't look safe. That's what I can definitely say. Right. And then again, like I said, with the dollar just coming down below that monthly open, yeah, that seems like a very sweet. That seems like a very sweet low for them to grab. So we'll definitely pay attention to Monday. Pay attention to how we move today. Probably the only thing I'll maybe even execute on is NAS on Monday. You know, if it comes down to that zone, but UJ dollar I kind of wanna let them. You know, I'm willing to even like let CPI play out. Like I'm in no rush this week. I'm just being honest with you. Not in any rush whatsoever. So definitely willing to wait. Excuse me, and let them show me what it is that they want to do. Now we do have UJ giving a bit of a pullback here after closing below this liquidity. So if they were to come down maybe up into this area, right? Previous low here, right? This was a previous low, fair value gap here, right after the massive expansion in the middle of this beefy institutional candle. So if we were to come up in here, potential, and the dollar wasn't, you know, pretty much moving higher and higher, right? If that wasn't happening, then you know I can go ahead and pay attention to how we'll move in this zone, right? And maybe even attack, right, the sell side liquidity here. Maybe they don't come all the way down to the daily sell side, but just getting an opportunity there to go ahead and attack the sell side before they actually do go ahead and move higher. But the way that they attack this low over here, it gives bearish, right? It gives bearish. Let me also, one last thing I'll do is run my fibs from the high to the low on this. Similarly enough, you know, we are in a discount area on UJ from this low over here to the high over here. It's funny because on the hourly, we did close above this high over here on the hour. We closed higher, you know, we closed higher over here, but yeah, on the higher time frames, it's not that. And you got to remember the institutions, they trade off the higher time frames, not the lower time frames. So if the higher time frames is showing me that they waked up there, not closed up there, then that's what I'm taking it as, right? That wasn't a higher close. That was a liquidity grab, and then they took off, right? And so I want to see on the 4 hour, on the daily, do we close above this sell side liquidity, or do we close below it? All right, so that's what I'm gonna pay attention to on UJ. That's what I'm gonna pay attention to on UJ. We hit the CAD, right? Let's hit the USDCAD. Now USDCAD has been aggressively bearish compared to the dollar, you know, and honestly, USDCAD really been given away how the dollar want to move. We could see that the monthly open on USDCAD was here, and we're already trading below the monthly open versus UJ, and we're still above the monthly open on UJ. You can see here this black line, right, is the monthly open. UJ has not traded below it, right? And then we can also see, if we were to look at, right, if we were to go ahead and look at USDCAD, we'll see that they have traded below that monthly open. Matter of fact, they've already traded below the sell side liquidity. They don't care about any of that. They're moving bearish, right? So let me go ahead and erase my chart on UCAD. Look at this going on real quick. Okay. Okay, UCAD, we're gonna see what you're talking about. The thing is, dollar is king. I'm just gonna let y'all know that. Okay, so we're gonna let UCAD do his thing, and she might see a good old tank, good old 200, 300 pip tank. Especially we just had UCAD come give a lower high, right? And then we have this sell side liquidity here. Could definitely see them targeting the liquidity down there on a weekly time frame. But man, dollar would have to be real bullish, or CAD would have to be real strong. You feel me? Let's see, how many pips is that from here down into here? 300 pips. Sheesh. Is UCAD gonna go for 300 pips? It's kind of crazy, right? So I'm gonna pay attention to how that goes down. But with that being said, UCAD looks bearish. Like I'd love to sell me $1, but UCAD looks bearish. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. UCAD looks super bearish. Um, yeah, man. Failed to take this buy side liquidity over here. Failed to take that buy side. Never reached, never reached up into that. Um, they've closed below here. Next low for them to attack would be, I guess, right here. Would be the next low for them to attack. And then really paying attention to how they respond coming into this lower low. I mean, that's a lower or a higher low, right? This is a higher low on the daily time frame right here is a higher low. So is UCAD insinuating they're gonna break that and they're gonna break that and close below it? Maybe they break wick and come back up. But again, it's all in correlation with the dollar, right? All in correlation with the dollar. Let's catch down on this 1 hour real quick. One thing about me, I'm gonna mark up the open. Yeah, UCAD, you are in a nosedive right now. You are in a nosedive right now. All of these joints is oversold, overbought, in reversal positions. It's nice to see. Euro USD, literally the opposite of the dollar. I definitely see them coming and taking this monthly, coming above this monthly open. And honestly, I'm bullish. I'm bearish on Euro USD, bullish on a dollar. But as we can see, Euro USD opened up the month and literally just traded, lower, right? Literally just traded lower. And now we're seeing them start to, move towards the monthly open, closing, getting close to the midpoint of the month, getting close to it, right? Clearly, we got like another week. This week would put us at the midpoint of the month, right? So just like we got a quote unquote reversal Wednesdays, you can consider the middle of the month like prime time to look for reversals on the trend we've had for the beginning of the month, right? So if let's say Euro USD, we go this week and we end up closing above the monthly open, right? Closing out this week, maybe even getting a little bit more bullishness. Definitely wouldn't be surprised to see that thing, get what it needs to then go lower. But as you say, if we close out the week and we still haven't taken this monthly open, or if we close out the week and we're still, maybe we wicked up into it and it came lower, right? Then going into Wednesday, Thursday, for CPI news, I know exactly what to expect. And again, I expect CPI news to come out bearish on the dollar. So that means bullish on Euro USD, gold, all these different ones, but definitely could see them playing lower. And then that CPI news comes out, spikes us, and then we still continue in the direction we want to go. All news really is, at the end of the day, it's an excuse to lure traders into the market, and the institutions know that they can make good profits, good profits with that, right? So just setting up my zones, right? I always, top of the week, I always mark up the weekly open, daily opens, right? Like I like to have a separate chart where maybe I'll mark up like the higher time frames of what I'm looking at. You feel me? And be able to see the different days when the days start, when the days close. Because if you don't like really get anything from me, even if you don't trade the same way as me, that's cool. If you don't trade the same style as me, nobody can deny the anatomy of a candle. Right? And nobody can deny the anatomy of a candle. Right? At the end of the day, when a candle is created, it doesn't matter if it's a daily candle, doesn't matter if it's an hourly candle, it doesn't matter what type of candle it is, right? Every candle has an open, high, low, close. Okay, and at the when you pay attention to the way that these things are formed, typically what do we see? We see the market open up, right? Then we'll see it dip down, and then we'll see it move up, and then we'll see it close, right? And that's on a up candle, right? If it's a down candle, we'll see it, open up, go up, and then drop, then come up, then close. And that's what a candle looks like. That's what a bar chart is, right? If I go here and I go to the bar chart, right? So it literally shows you market opens, moves, come down, close, right? That's how these candles operate, right? And remember, every candle is representative of the time frame you're on, right? So that, and like I said, this doesn't matter what way you trade. You can definitely apply the understanding of the anatomy of a candle. Okay, so let me give you an example. All right, let's go down to the 1 hour. Let's look at last week. Watch last week be a horrible example, especially on GBP USD. Let me go ahead and go to something more common sense, right? Like UJ. All right. So boom, and UJ is actually not is actually a fun example too. So we'll go with UJ. Boom. Got Monday opened here. We got Tuesday here. We got Wednesday. Oh yes, Monday was New Year's, right? So it's gonna be a little bit further. All right, cool. So that's Tuesday. That's Tuesday's open. This is gonna be Wednesday's open. And then we're gonna have Thursday's open. Then we're gonna have Friday's open. Boom. All right, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? And then if we look at this would be a weekly candle, right? This is how the weekly candle would form, right? So here's the open of the week, right? The market moves sideways. Then we get the weekly wick, right? Because this is the open of the candle. So that would be the bottom of the candle. Here's the wick, right? And then the body of the candle. And then the market drops lower and it closes right here, right? And if we go to the weekly time frame, we'll see the candle from last week look just like that, right? Opened here, traded lower, moved higher, came down, closed here. Okay, that is the way that candles are formed. All right, now that's the weekly that I just gave you an example of. But guess what? If I were to delete these off my chart and we were to go down to a 15-minute time frame, right? And we were to look specifically just at Thursday, for example, right? And we were to look at Thursday, we can see what? The market opened here. The market moved lower. The market then moved higher throughout the day, gave a high, and then we came down and we closed. This is literally how candles are created. Therefore, this is the timing of the market. If you understand that, it doesn't matter if you're a scalper. It doesn't matter if you are a swing trader. It doesn't matter what type of trader you are. If you understand the frame of the context of what you're trading in, whatever you use, whatever confirmations, whether it's, ICT's concepts, whether it's trend line analysis, whether it's Fibonacci's, whatever, have an understanding for how the market develops. If you have an understanding for how the market develops, whatever strategy you use, you're just using to predict where you can participate in that development, right? And then the same thing happens on a yearly, because I just showed you guys what the year looked like, right? On gold, I believe it was that I showed you what the year looked like, right? And we can go to the year, and we see the same thing on a yearly time frame, right? Market opened in January, right? So boom, where was January? Right here was January. Cool. Market opened up in January, right? And then we took off, gave a wick high, then what? Market moved lower, and then what? Came up and closed in the middle. Like it's just the way the candle developed. It doesn't matter what time frame we're looking at. Okay, so that's the reason that I'm looking at the charts. The week just started. I don't try to call the week on at the top of the week. I don't try to say, oh, the market's gonna do this. I want to let the market, like for example USDCAD, DXY, like all these stuff, right? Okay, the market just opened and we're just nosediving already, right? So if all of Monday plays out and all of Monday is bearish, maybe even Tuesday, whatever the case, if the week starts off bearish, then I'm anticipating that we're gonna have to get a candle that moves forward. Are you always gonna be right? No, but back test it, right? Go look on your charts, back test. Like highly suggest back testing. I back test, especially on Fridays. I always back test. So it's just like go back test this stuff. Go map out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. See how the candle develops, how the weekly candle develops. Go mark up from the market open all the way to New York open and see how the market develops in that time. You feel me? And you'll see what it is that I'm saying. Okay. So with that being said, even with the dollar, looking at it on a monthly time frame, right? Monthly, we're really in the same place. The month, like the month really has not moved yet. We're really in the same place, but you can see that we did give a spike up to the high side. But we gonna see. They like to play games, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm a little too hip. So we gonna see. We gonna see if this move up at the beginning of the month means that the rest of the month is gonna move on, right? I really think that this CPI coming out this week is gonna give a nasty fake out to the downside, and we'll get that wick on the bottom on the dollar, and then the dollar is gonna just go massively parabolically bullish and take the buy side liquidity over here. That's what I think. I'm just gonna be honest. All right, boom. And that's what I think. But what I think is just what I think, and I'm an adaptable trader that is like water. So we'll see how the market, responds. We'll see how what the market kind of gives us. So I'm looking at the dollar. I want the dollar to kind of give me a little something, right? Give me a little something so I can know what's going on. Dip under this monthly open, see how they attack this sell side liquidity. That's what I want on there. Gold, I want to see how she responds to this sell side liquidity, this buy side liquidity, like this high she's at right now, right? Are we gonna get a massive push up again? Are we gonna get a massive push down from here? And then I can look for opportunities to go ahead and get in on the sells to pull back, right? So we can just go ahead and agree that I see sell side liquidity on gold, right? All the way down at 1825. That's a good 500 pips. It's a lot of pips in between here and that low. So if you start to see some breakdowns, then by all means definitely can execute on that with targets to 1825 at least. All right, at least. I'm just gonna be real, right? Especially if we do not close above this 1878 level. Like if we do not close under this above this 1878 level, definitely gonna be looking to see some attacks here, right? But if not, cool. We'll go ahead and see if they do close above that level. Then all right, bet maybe the market will continue, and if that's the case, then dollar should be maybe going the other way, unless they're gonna decide they don't want to correlate for this week. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm looking at. Dollar. Like I said, gold, NAS, right? That's what we're looking on NAS. We're looking to see, are we going to take this buy side liquidity on NAS? And if we do, this trade does not matter. But if we don't take this buy side liquidity on NAS, we just actually move lower, then that's a potential entry on the fair value gap for them to move higher and take that buy side liquidity before they actually do go ahead and go lower. Because I am overall bearish on NAS, right? But I am targeting this area right here from 11,615 to 11,375, right? That right there. I am paying attention to that, right? So if we can see for NAS to not tomorrow going into tonight, if we can see them respect and keep that literally 11,100 level, they can hold that and trade lower. Then yeah, that's great, beautiful. That's great buying opportunities that I'll be willing to take to that buy side liquidity. But overall, you already know, I'm targeting the highs, over there. So we'll definitely pay attention. I'll go ahead and drop this in the service. Like I said, it's the only one I'm not gonna put a whole bunch of OD time to trying to predict what's gonna happen the whole week. Just want to go ahead and respond So January 8th, 2022. And we'll go ahead and put this economic calendar with us. All right. And we'll say looking to see DXY and potentially take sell side liquidity and dip below the monthly open. Therefore, and in response, looking to see NAS trade lower into FVG and then attack buy side liquidity, right? And then we'll go ahead and we'll drop the chart in there. Okay. And so yeah, that's what we're looking at this week. Boom. All right. So yeah, that's what we're looking at this week. Definitely ready to be patient this week. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really how it is, right? I'm really ready to be patient this week, and let the market come to us. And I'm not gonna lie, man. Me and Naz gotta really respect that relationship. I don't think she like when I be looking around too much. So I'm working on my ability to stick with just Naz, because I'm not gonna lie, if just Naz could take care of a lot of things. But appreciate everybody tapping in with us. We've been on here. Definitely gonna be live again this week. Tuesday 8:15 gonna be live New York session. So appreciate everybody, and let's be